Donald Trump was interviewed by a group of black female journalists, and he went off the rails, full racist, attacking them, attacking Kamala Harris, saying Kamala Harris turned black. Going to show you all those clips. Let me show you how this all kicked off, where a journalist asked Donald Trump real questions. He's not used to actually talking to real journalists, and it went completely off the rails. Watch this. Real quick, if you could please like and subscribe. Liking helps get this into the algorithm, and subscribing.
People did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country. Including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money, they were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was wrong.
Mr. President, I would love if you can answer the question on your rhetoric and why you believe that black voters should trust you with another 4 years.
I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act?
And for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work, in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir.
That's literally the first question he was asked, and that's where the interview started. It was only downhill from there. It got so bad that the audience was literally gasping. They were gasping. Here's Donald Trump telling a black journalist that Kamala Harris isn't black. She turned black. It's just outrageous. Watch this.
Then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a definition then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition of that.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a very direct question.
Define it for me, if you would.
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that
I think somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
I really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean,
You notice the audience is laughing, but they're not laughing with him. They're laughing because they cannot believe the absurdity of what he's saying.
she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think,
that
I think
she is
somebody should look into that too.
That Kamala Harris, who has a black father, an Indian mother, is being told by this old white guy that she turned black. And when confronted with the question about DEI, he says, could be.
I really don't know. Could be.
There's nothing stopping him from saying no. He could just flatly say no and Republicans stop. Instead, he does a dog whistle. He says, could be. And he gives a permission slip for every sitting Republican to keep doing it and for every Republican voter and supporter to think that way. Could be she's a DEI hire. This is a terrible day for Donald Trump. It's an awesome day for the pro-democracy movement because I am telling you right now, Americans are sick of this crap. They're sick of this crap. They don't want birtherism. Karine Jean-Pierre from the White House just came out with a statement saying what he just said, what you just read to me, is repulsive. It's insulting. She is the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. We have to put some respect on her name, to say the least. Donald Trump doesn't deserve to sit at the same table as her, let alone say the things that he's saying about her. Faulkner, a reporter from Fox News, was there, and Donald Trump kept going after that journalist because he was so mad that she had the audacity to ask him questions about things that he has said previously. She was in disbelief.
Or would you?
Absolutely.
And who would?
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated me.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm fine with it because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That was a nasty, that wasn't a question. She
Sir,
didn't
you
ask
can
me a
answer the
question.
question.
She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated
You
your
can answer the
statement, sir,
question.
actually.
You
Completely off the rails. You notice how someone from the audience was even starting to defend her? This is a terrible, terrible moment for Trump. But I'm glad it's happening because it shows people he's not going to unify the country. He is who he always was and always will be. A racist doing anything for power on a path to try to destroy our country. It's just that very rarely do we put this man in front of real journalists that actually ask him real questions. Hats off to Rachel Scott for actually asking him real questions. This is what we need more of.
I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?